Hi, I'm Kaylee,
Hi, I'm Ashley.
and we are the graphic designers for Clout9. And welcome to our Clout9 podcast, which does not have a name, but maybe it will magically insert itself here.
Yeah.
Vanna White it. So kind of like just talking about how design really interacts with social media, which is kind of the bread and butter at Clout9. And like just, I know being like in the design department, we often get asked, how does design translate to social media? And I feel like sometimes people have like missed opportunities because a lot of social media design is pictures with like just text on it and stuff, right? So like
Yeah.
I always find myself trying to really be innovative with how we do graphics in a different way, like strictly in a universe that's digital and not print, because I feel like in school and stuff we were taught so much about how to do print media and stuff, and like how to really grab the attention of someone who is scrolling on social media platforms. Do you have any like things you gravitate towards? I feel like I really try to, like, whatever brand I'm working with, see like what kind of like motifs we can pull out of there and kind of like use them across the board. Just hit that. Great. So things are, but so like branding's like cohesive, but like cute. And I don't have to just put like text. You know what I mean? I feel like that's something we utilize a lot here.
Right. I find that it's important for people to always keep in mind their audience whenever they're trying to do anything for social media. And a lot of people always think of it as somewhat of an afterthought, but now that we're moving into a much more digital age, it's a lot more important to also consider your social media branding along with print branding.
I agree with that. I also feel like people really think like, oh, my customer base is this age or whatever, but I feel like they also forget to think of like people who use social media the most. Like it's definitely just a different type of marketing.
Right.
So like if you start with like the TikTok trend, you're definitely marketing to like a younger audience. So I think it's okay to like make your brand fresh for that. I think people are so scared to like stray away from their branding, like what they know, but you can keep things in brand while making them like kind of new and like geared towards a younger audience.
Right.
I think something else that like I come across is like design is sort of like an afterthought, graphic design.
A lot of people, from what I've seen, especially with like small businesses, they try to cut corners, which I mean, I
Yes.
understand if you don't have a budget, but a lot of times they'll try to implement like clip art or something.
Yes.
And you can literally look at another small business and they might be doing the same thing.
Yeah, all the time.
So if you're going to go that route, how are you expecting to kind of stand out from a competitor?
Yep.
If you're trying to implementing the same design strategy, you're not really coming up with your own unique thing.
Right.
Like that's the problem that people usually like end up in whenever they're trying to start out fresh.
Yep.
For sure. And so just when I try to give people advice, it's like they hear me, but they're not visually seeing what I'm talking about until like I show them an example.
Right. Nothing more awkward than like seeing your exact thing on someone else's page, especially in a small community, because we are very local here, and like support local. I think that's definitely such a thing with people cutting corners, and it's hard to not get, because I get it, like especially in like the world of 2020 and everything that's going on right now, like saving money where you can. But I think just from like personal experience, just like straight numbers, when you cut corners on design and like things looking good, the numbers you're bringing in, like I feel like are lower. I've seen that literally happen. Like people don't want to keep your piece, or like don't want to, they scroll past your post, they don't want to share it, they don't want to interact with it because like it's not aesthetically pleasing. And like honestly, we live in a like an aesthetic world right now.
Yep.
Right. So I agree with that.
And it's all about trying to keep people engaged at the end of the day. And if they feel like, you know, I can't really interact with what you're trying to give me right now, then I'm just not even going to pay attention to it.
What do you have like any like 3 top things you think are like a must have in like branding? I know that's like such a broad question. I think about that sometimes because like I want to try to have like variety for every single one of my clients, right? But like I feel like there's like, if I go through like a list of like boxes. Like you need to have these 3 things for your branding to look a certain type of way. And I always feel like it's cohesiveness, good typesetting, yes. like is a must. I feel like, I don't know why. It's when you see bad typesetting and it's like, you know it's bad typesetting. And I know like we know that, but it's like when you're scrolling through, like I feel like visually, if you don't know like the rules of graphic design or whatever, because obviously not everyone's a designer, I feel like you can still tell like, oh, there's something off with that post. Like, why don't I like it? And then when you see something good, it's like, oh. Yeah. Like that's so nice. Yes. It's like that's what's like kind of missing. And then for me, it's like also a personal touch. Like brands that use a lot of stock imagery and stuff, like try to stay away from that. Like really try to put like a personal touch on like your company. Make sure you're using things like organically straight from you. I love it when I see companies like really utilizing their own pictures, like of their employees and their customers and stuff like that. I feel like it just like makes a brand so much warmer, in my opinion. Like I want to interact with that brand. Right. What do you think people do wrong with their social media branding? Like what's the biggest faux pas that you see specifically on social media?
Maybe singularly advertising to one demographic when they have potential to advertise to multiple.
Like they really they think they're like staying in their lane and stuff.
Yeah, when they have potential for more.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like people really like, especially older brands who maybe like don't use social media a lot, like who are like coming into the social media age, which is like, I think what our campaign managers do so well here is like taking so many different like diverse fields and like really implementing across the board in different ways in social media. But like they think, oh, because this has been our clientele for 50 years and we've never used Facebook before, we have to stay in that clientele. Yeah. And it's like, that's not true. I agree with that.
And especially like with millennials, because a lot of times I find that a lot of older brands, they are starting to tap into the market to try to advertise to people our age. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Like, you know, yeah, they still market toward, you know, my grandma or whatever. But yes. they are trying to take the initiative to like, hey, okay, they are of this age now. It's time for us to kind of target them. Right. So I do appreciate that.
I think my biggest thing is like putting graphics and stuff on social media for like certain campaigns or branding and like taking it away from everything else. Like you'll run like a certain amount of ads and it's like you do this really cool thing and then like the rest of your brand is lacking. So like you pull them in and then you get to their website or like whatever it is and it's like, where's that? Like I'm no longer engaged. Like I was engaged with that one time. You got me and then
I'm gone now.
Yeah, honestly that happens a lot to me though. And I'm just like, oh, I would love this to like continue, please. Thanks. Right. Like a social media cleanup. Like right. Like let's make the brand like zip it up. For sure. Well, if anyone else has like any design questions or branding questions, even specifically for like how you brand yourself on social media, definitely drop a comment below, message us. We are here. We love answering things like that. Yeah.
Bye.